everyone. Hello and welcome. Just trying to multitask there as I'm trying to look at my phone and look at you guys. But that's only because I'm missing a few of my retreaters and I'm trying to chase them, whip them. Hello. So I've got a few lovely people here with me this evening. I don't know what order they're showing to you, but next to me in the pink is the lovely Liz. She is a chef, stylist extraordinaire. She sings when we get tense on shoots, and
today.
more of that. Next to Liz, we've got Ansuya. Ansuya came to my retreats in the studio, and hopefully she's got some nice things to say. Then we've got the lovely Debbie that came to the Brecon Beacons retreat. And we have got a lot to say, haven't we, Debbie?
Yes.
And then we've got the wonderful Karen, who is the chef and owner of the New White Lion Boutique Hotel in the Brecon Beacons. And you can ask them all questions and anything that you need. But please do, for now, just say hello in the comments. If you've got any questions tonight, this is just a chat and a few photos over the retreats. So you are more than welcome to ask anyone anything, well, about retreats. I think I better clarify what you're allowed to ask. And we've just lost about 3 or 4 of our retreaters that are coming in. So I am going to need to try and find the link for one of my retreaters. So while you are there, let me see who we've got. We've got Colin. Hello, Colin. Hi, Caro. Nice to see you. And I'm sure there's other people, as I can see that other people are watching. Hi, Daryl. Nice to have you with us. I will just give it a minute so everyone can say hello if they want to. Just bear with me 1 minute. I'm just trying to find the link to get someone else in. Never work with people, animals, or photographers, I think is probably the way to go on this one. So let me just copy that over and we can see if we can get another one of our retreaters in. Just bear with me. Bear. So I don't think I can. What I might have to do, Pratimar, as I know you're trying to get in, is just get you to put a few things. Oh, you are there. You've joined us. We've got you. Phew. I mean, I was multitasking there and it was getting a little bit tight. There we go. This is Pratimar. Hello. Pratimar was in our studio retreat as well. So 6 is a good number. I'm so sorry to those that haven't got in, but if you are watching, please remember that there was a StreamYard link, not a YouTube link to get in. And that's good enough. Hello, Joan. Hello, Millie. Millie from Switzerland. Lovely. That's a retreat in itself, I'm sure. So I'm just going to start off by going through some photos with you. It feels a bit like the 1970s when I've got my slideshow out of my holiday. But I really want to show you this visually and really get you to immerse yourself into the retreats. The retreats are such a great thing to be part of. For me, as the photographer, it's wonderful because I get the chance to... Oh.
I get your drink about.
I got someone in the background. Do I need to mute someone? The retreats are so good because you've got the opportunity to learn hands-on. You've got the opportunity to correct things on the retreat and say, why isn't this working? What's happening? We don't have to be on Zoom ever again or YouTube. We can learn this together. It can feel like a mini holiday, a creative escape, something to get those creative juices going again. And regardless of what level you're at, you can get some absolutely amazing photos for your portfolio and go home with a real renewed confidence of can actually do this, which is what we all want. So let me just share my screen. Okay. And just show you a few little photos and everywhere that we are. If I can find the right thing in the background. Is it just me, or has everyone got 21 million tabs open at once? I always think I've got rid of some, but I don't think so. Right. Okay. So just then looking at the retreats, I'm going to start in the order of the next ones coming up. Just realized I can't see the comments again. Feel free to put anything in as we're going along. And the first retreats I just want to talk you through are the mini gourmet retreats, the taster retreats in the studio, in my studio, in Surrey, just south of London. We are just off the junction 9 of the M25. And there are lots of Airbnbs and hotels and restaurants around here. So it's a perfect place to host a retreat. So in the retreat, we have 1 and 2 days in our retreats. And we can see here, we've got the lovely Liz showing all of her food stylist secrets to the people on the retreat. When we have 2 days, on the first day, we heavily look at the styling side of things, and everyone gets a chance to style their own food like a styling pro or a chef. When we're a photographer, sometimes we can find that the styling part is the most difficult thing. So having someone that shows us exactly how to do it is amazing. And we spend time styling and shooting on the first day. And on the second day, Liz cooks and styles everything for you, so it's all beautifully presented for you. So here we are having some mussels styled for us. That was possibly on the first or second day. I can't remember. We've got the lovely Ansuya there having a go. You can see that the studio is getting messier as we go along. And we were actually battling really big sunlight. So I'm having to put a scrim, a voile, anything I could to get rid of some of the sunlight, which we all really want. And it's pretty sacrilege, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And then we've got the lovely Pratimar having a go as well. It does actually look like you're photographing Liz's bum there. So maybe that wasn't the Hello, Ian. You know, and we stop for lunch. We have a lovely Marks and Spencer's lunch in the garden. And I've got a marquee. So if it's good old British weather and it isn't good, I have a marquee. Hello, Chris. But we sit, we chat, we chill, we talk about food, we talk about photography, we talk about food and photography. And it's just a really chilled out day or 2 days. Here's Liz putting together some meringue. So what we try to do, and I'm sure Liz will talk you through this, is we have a chat about everything that we want you to learn in the days and what we're going to prepare. And Liz will give you an idea of why she prepared stuff, I think, for us to chat. And, you know, we haven't just rocked up there on the day and said, oh, let's just photograph some nice food. We've carefully planned out what you're going to be photographing, whether it's to do with the eye level, the angle that you're photographing at, the feel of the food, or whether it's for a certain genre of food photography. We've carefully thought out how it's all going to slot into the day.
I think this one was, so basically we kind of take each avenue that you might go down, so like editorial photography or commercial photography, advertorial, and for this we kind of like, you know, imagined it would be in a layout of a magazine with text around it, and it would be a recipe that someone would follow. And we've kept it obviously a bit arty, like just put it straight on a surface. The inspiration for this, I think, was like from Friends, from the TV series Friends, where they drop cheesecake on the floor and they all get down and grab a spoon and start eating it. So it was our eat and mess version.
Yeah. And it worked really well. And I know that Jo has this as part of her portfolio, as one of her main images coming on the retreat. And also she has it on her banner for LinkedIn. So you're not just coming along and having a practice at what you do. You're coming along and you're going to have finished images that you can put into a portfolio. So if you're trying to build your portfolio, or you're just starting out and want to look a bit more professional, the retreats give you that option, because we've thought about everything that you may need in that portfolio, as well as the things that you'll learn. But lovely shot, Liz. By the way, I must just say to you, the shots of the food tonight are not my shots. These shots are all the retreaters that came to me. So everything that you're seeing as the finished images tonight are not my shots. I felt I missed out a bit because everyone else was photographing and I didn't get to photograph as much as everyone else. So these shots are the people that came along of all different levels. So also you get to have a go at the drizzling, the sprinkling, the photographing. It's totally immersive. Once you're in this retreat, we're very small numbers on these retreats. You are not sitting there on your bum for the day, just recording everything on your phone. You're up, you're at it, you're trying it, you're seeing things that work. When things don't work with your kit or work for you, we then stop, we figure it out, and then we carry on. So when you go away, you are going away with everything that you needed answers to. And if you're struggling with a bit of kit, I always say bring the kit with you, and then we can fix it while we're together, rather than me trying to do that over a Zoom call, which again, Zoom, so again, not my images, but beautiful from everyone else. Trying different things, everyone having a go at everything we did. Anything, Liz, you want to say about your lovely seafood there?
Well, I was just thinking about the ice cream, the previous shot. That's a really good one for a portfolio for a photographer, a food photographer, to have, like a few shots of ice cream, because it shows you can deal with, foods that are changeable, and also, kind of like move with whatever challenges you're given. Here you've got like ice cream, you've got fresh cream, and then you have the action of a melted chocolate going over it. So it just, like, the picture tells quite a lot about the photographer's skills as well as the food stylists. With the seafood, that was a really nice one. I think that was our seaside image, again thinking about what could go like in editorial or avatorial, space for like ad copy or editorial copy around it, and we kept it nice and light and airy. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, lovely colours there.
Yeah.
And then we got we actually got a 4-layer lemon cake, but it was too big for all of my cake stands. So it ended up as a 3-layer cake stand. And because the colour of the studio and the colour of the cake stand was the same, we took it outside and we photographed it as the backdrop of the studio. And Liz brought along some edible flowers just to dress the cake with.
Yeah, these were nasturtiums from my garden, and sage from the garden as well. And it's basically a bought cake from Marks and Spencer's or something like that, that I filled with mashed potato in the middle and then cream around, because it was a big cake. There was a lot going on. And also you can't really, it is quite heavy. So if you want it to stay like that for a very long time, it needs to have a bit more structure. And it had lots of mixed skewers in it. And that was also with lemon curd that was running down it. But that was a really interesting exercise. It was great for everyone. I think like people got some like in-action shots as well, and then also got your end piece. And yeah, I think again, a 3-tiered cake is a really good one for a portfolio. It shows that you can do many things. It's not just about a cake in front of you. That's, you know, that's over an hour shot of working to get it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just slicing a cake properly, you know, if you haven't sliced a cake and you slice it not even, it ruins the whole aesthetic look of the cake. And it's like, that's why we had Liz there to do that.
Yeah. And it's a really good opportunity on the retreats, you know, to work with a working food stylist. You know, I work for various clients. And it's good to have that experience and seeing, you know, what actually happens on a shoot. We kind of, you know, it's a bit like let's pretend, and we set out who the client is and you know what we've got to achieve. So it's good for the person, you know, like building up their portfolio to get a taste of that as well, and also pick up some, you know, tips and tricks from me to style it. Your own pictures. Yeah,
absolutely. Brilliant. Thanks, Liz. And those of you that are staying for 2 nights, we go out to a local restaurant. I hadn't realized how many Airbnbs were around my studio until people were booking overnight. And I think only one person stayed in a hotel. Everyone else stayed in an Airbnb in the village, which was perfect. And then we just went out for dinner. And then came back and did it all over again the following day. But everyone, obviously, by the second day is very relaxed, and it works really, really well. So before we go on to the next one, I just want to just stop sharing the screen for a minute, and let me just take that off. And just really hand it over to Ansuya and Pratima. And we've got Joe now as well. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
And just to really give your idea of how you found the studio retreats. So Ansuya, over to you.
Hi, everyone. So I did both days of Emma's 2-day retreat, which was last September. And the first day was kind of mainly around the food styling bit, which was I was fascinated by, and it was a real pleasure watching Liz work, and really appealed to the OCD within me as well, how neat everything was, which was fantastic. And I think I aspire one day to be able to style food in that kind of level of finesse, which I think I've improved, but I'm a long way from Liz standards for sure. But it was nice to first watch Liz doing it and then have your own chance at doing it, and to be able to get a bit of critique whilst you're doing it and saying, well, why don't you think about doing it like this instead of that? And I think the biggest takeaway I had from that was style your food for the angle that you're going to be taking the shot. I think I've always spent a lot of time styling the entire thing from, you know, if I was doing a 360 shot, and actually there's just no need for it. You can save a lot of time on that, and that's also cut down my my shooting time a fair bit, which is good. So that was great fun. And then the second day was more focusing on the food photography side of things, which again, it's always great to find tips and tricks and watch how other people do things, and sometimes you find a quicker way or a cleverer way of doing something that you hadn't even thought of or realized, which is always really handy. And one of the big things for me on the second day was we were also shooting with artificial light, which at that point was something I'd never done before. And it made me identify a couple of tech issues I had, which have since been sorted out. So that's all good. But it was nice to get that experience of both. It wasn't such a scary thing then when I did go on to shoot with artificial light later on. So that was quite good. And I think just overall, being able to kind of network, meet other people who have the same passions is always a really nice thing. And for me personally, it's great to have somebody else doing the cooking and the styling, and I don't have to think about that bit. I can just focus on doing the photography bit. So that was another big win. But overall, really great experience, great time, and I'm looking forward to doing another one.
Yeah, we'll hold you to that. Brilliant. Thanks, Ansuya. And now here you are with artificial light and not even thinking about using it anymore. Well, sort of.
Absolutely. Yeah, mostly when it works, when it plays game.
Yeah, brilliant. Pratima. Oh, I've got you on mute, I think. Let me unmute you. There we go.
Yeah. For me, I did the retreat in September with you, Emma, for the 2 days. It was so valuable. The first day with Liz, it was all about styling, because you don't think about styling to be photographed. You just style and you just take photos. It was just to learn about how to style your set based on how you want to photograph the image and what needs to be in the front, and how to do ice cream, because I just thought just take a scoop and just put it in a dollop. And I remember when you unboxed the cake, there was some cream, and me and Ansuya were just going to scrape the cream and eat it. And you said, no, just save them for later, because you don't know where you want to patch up or use that. So small things like that just make us think now when we start, something for to be shot. And it was really valuable. The ice cream, the cake, the salad, and we all had a go at building a sandwich, which I never ever thought of doing. So that was an eye-opener to know how to actually build a sandwich, which might seem simple, but it was not. And Liz was there on the first day to teach us how to do it properly. And it's good to learn from the good source. As you said, Liz, from a working food stylist, you learn so much. And then the next day with Emma, it was, the workflow, how you do it, the timing, when the stylist got the food ready to shout and to have the set ready. And it was just seeing all that in front of you was just invaluable. Yeah, it helps a lot. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Pratima.
Never eat anything. Never eat anything as a food stylist. You never know when it's going to come in handy.
Okay, and then on to Jo.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So I joined as well in September. I only did the 1 day, so I did the food photography day. And I think some of you remember me as arriving epically late, although there is no such thing as arriving late. I think so. A lot of my learning from photography is through university online learning. So a lot of that is self-learning and going out researching and practicing yourself. So it can feel a really, really lonely place when you're trying to learn something that's new. And I think one of the good things about the retreat is you've got the freedom there to say, oh, what about this? Or what about that? Or when you've got questions or really silly things or tweaks, and having people there too as well that are like-minded like you. So, it's a good way of communicating, and obviously through learning directly rather than trying to learn from a textbook or from an online course, or just seeing everything put into practice. And again, like and Sura, whilst I practiced photography for some time, I've not got very much experience with lighting. So again, I took that away from the course. And I think just little things that you don't think of. I think one of my favorite things was the mussels. I really enjoyed when you built the plate up inside, you put the bowl inside the big pan to make it look like it was full to the top. So it's just lots of little techniques and little new things, learning new equipment, and obviously meeting lots of lovely like-minded people as well that share the same passion as you do.
Lovely. Thanks, Jo. Really appreciate that. Liz, anything else from you? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I don't think so. I just, I think it's good to have a look at, like, I bring my full kit that I would take to a shoot, a food shoot, and so which has lots of, you know, little things in there that you might not think you need for food styling, like, you know, for pets and Marmite and tampons and all sorts of stuff. And I just talk all the way through it and let everyone have a look and answer questions on it. And I think people like that bit. I think it's good to have a nose in general as a human being, but it's also quite a nice way to you know, investigate that side of what is a relatively like new career. I mean, food stylists have probably only been around for about 30 years, maybe not even 30 years. But yeah, I that's what I'd like to add, and it's a fun day.
Thank you. Okay, just going to then now move on to, if I can find that. Okay, so the next place that I want to talk to you about, sorry, I'm just going to try and mute someone. I've got something in the background and I'm not sure who it is. Guys, if I can just get you to mute yourself, because I don't know whether I've got a telly or someone talking in the background. If you wouldn't mind just muting yourself, that would be great. Thank you. So the next one I want to talk to you about is Kingswood Manor. Now, I open up the retreats usually to my Academy members first. And I opened up the retreat a couple of months ago to my Academy members, and within 24 hours, it sold out. So no one actually got a look in for Kingswood Manor because everyone from the Academy took it first. But I'm going to show you it. I've spoken to them. They've said there is one extra room in the house that they haven't. It's not like a dusty old one with ladies in. They've just got one that they don't normally open up, but there is one room if anyone still wants to go. But this is Kingswood Manor. Kingswood Manor is in Surrey. It's about 20 minutes away from me. It's about junction 8 of the M25. And it's this gorgeous old manor that we have the whole run of for the retreat. Sorry, I've still got someone talking, guys. Would you just mind looking at your mute buttons? Someone is, I can just hear a man's voice in the background. If someone is still muted, I'd really appreciate it.
Immune system because you dipped around in a way that's never been done. Genetically modified your DNA. Well done.
Sorry. Seeing if anyone else is there, but yeah, please just mute for me because I've got someone talking. It's got a sweeping driveway coming up to Kingswood Manor, and unfortunately the imagery isn't very good, but this is the hallway. We've got a gorgeous big kitchen to do all of the food. We've got a little breakfast room here. We've got not one lounge, but there's a couple of lounges. There is so much space at Kingswood Manor. We've got this big room that we can also shoot on too. It's got an old-fashioned office where we can use the walls as a backdrop, and it's just got some beautiful big bedrooms. It is a really big bedroom place, and it's even got a snooker table and a pool table. So that is Kingswood. As I say, it did sell out within 24 hours. When I put these out there, they do sell quite quickly, and apologies to everyone that didn't get the chance to do that, but you know, it was something that just went very, very quickly. Okay, so now that I've zoomed through Kingswood, we're going to just now have a chat about the new White Lion. And we have the wonderful owner, Karen, here with us, who is also the chef. And I'm going to introduce you to her husband, to the dog, to her mother's brothers, uncles, aunts, sister. No, I'm not. I'm just going to introduce you to the family. And we've also got Debbie here that came on the 5-day retreat in Wales last October. So feel free if anyone wants to, if either of you two want to jump in. If not, I'll ask for some things from you at the end. I've got loads of photos. Everyone took loads and loads of photos at the new White Lion. So I'm just going to chat to you while I go through the photos. So this is the new White Lion in the Brecon Beacons in Wales. It's a beautiful, gorgeous hotel. It's got 6 bedrooms. So we only have 6 people at this venue. One has sold already and it's only just gone live. And I'm allowed to be tucked away in the attic out the way. I'm not allowed to go in the main house because I can't be trusted. Millie, it's you coming in November. You're the one that's been booked. So yeah, everyone else, well, I was going to say everyone else gets a nice room. I thought mine was the Harry Potter room and it was actually quite nice. So I was very happy with that, Karen. So this is the main area of the new White Lion. It is beautifully presented. Every bedroom is completely different. It's so quirky and so beautiful. We just had the most amazing time, which is why we have so many photos from everyone and videos. I think the whole of social media just exploded with what everyone was doing. This is Mark. This is Karen's husband. He wears his waistcoat to come down and serve you breakfast in the morning. You order your breakfast the night before, and the breakfast menu is absolutely amazing. We came in and the room was like this. And once we'd got to know each other by the next morning, we're all sitting together for the rest of the time, which was really sweet. Mark is there to serve all the food, look after you, sort out your room. And Karen even put him in charge of making the cocktails. One afternoon, we made cocktails and photographed cocktails. So Mark definitely got swept it up in the food photography retreat. This is Poppy. Poppy is rather deaf and rather old, and she's not allowed in where all the food is, but it's really lovely having a dog there that is not eating everything off the floor because she's not allowed. But just having Poppy there with us is lovely. And this is the main area. So we've got the dining room and we've also got the lounge where we set up shots with artificial light and natural light. And we spread out because there's no one else in the hotel. We spread out and take over the whole place. Sorry, Karen. When we arrived last time, Karen just put together a few little bits, which were all like, wow, that's amazing. If the food's like that for the whole time, we'll be really happy. And the food was like that the whole time. Karen just went for it. I bring all my props with me, all my crockery, all my cutlery, my wooden boards, so I can talk you through everything that we're doing. And I also bring all my napkins to show you how to style your sets and bring everything in together. And we just have different workstations for you all to be working. Again, there are only 6 of you doing this. You're not fighting there's not a long line of you trying to take one photo. You get so much time building the sets to the point where it was like, oh, could you just build us some sets? I'm like, I might build you a few, but you're going to have to build some too. The rooms are absolutely gorgeous. As I mentioned, all the rooms are separate. Separate. Of course, they're separate. It's not that kind of retreat. They all look completely different. They're all en suite, and they are all beautiful, beautiful, beautiful boutique hotel. Here is Karen in action, showing us again how she's styling and building her sandwich here. And it's really interesting watching chefs and stylists building sandwiches. You know, it's not like us making a little cheese and tomato sandwich on a floppy piece of bread. It's really, really well thought out. And we want to make it photographable. If that's a word, is photographable a word? So again, these are all the images from the students that came on the Brecon Beacons. I didn't get a look in. They were taking all the photos. And Karen putting together her, I think it was a mango posset, but she can tell us more about it. So at the same time, we set up multiple sets. We set up sets for natural light, and we set up sets for artificial light. And I think it's really important to do that because you might be stronger with one or another. Ironically, I was a studio portrait photographer for 15 years. So it took me a while to get to grips with natural light. People that haven't used artificial light get very scared of artificial light. So we make sure that you're swapping in between so that you're starting to feel that you are really picking up the tricks of going between artificial and natural light. And here we are bouncing light in the window and getting our breakfast shots. And again, carefully thinking through, Karen and I had multiple chats about every angle that we were photographing from. What is it that we are going to photograph? What would look good in a portfolio? And what would be the biggest learning takeaways for everyone to be able to feel that they have made a real inroad? Debbie took this picture off the wall. You might have noticed that. And that was her backdrop. That worked really well. So just lots of pictures. And we really did just spend time together, had a meal. No one wanted to stay up late or go partying because they were really looking forward to coming back down the next morning and getting started again. So it did feel quite cathartic. Karen made the most beautiful food, really thought about what she was doing. We've got this gorgeous cheese tower with figs. We also did a cheese tower before we cut some of the cheese, 2 different cheese towers, 2 different cheeses. We also took a trip to the local bakers, and Debbie bought these because she thought they looked like the Marks and Spencer's ones, and she bought them back and photographed these. So we had a trip out to the bakers so that the guys could choose something that they wanted to photograph, not what had just been put in front of them. And then lots of fantastic meals that Karen had created that are just dying to be photographed and look so good in a portfolio. Once you've got the right lighting, once you've got the right styling, once you've got everything right. Then on the second to last day at the Brecon Beacons, we go to Judy's ice cream shot. We go on a location shot. Judy is lovely. She owns the ice cream parlor and she lets us all go in, order our ice creams and take photos in the ice cream shop as if we are on location. We haven't got the comfort of where is the light. We've been photographing everything the same in the week. We understand the light. We had to go out and we had to photograph very differently, which really got everyone thinking, how am I going to do it? I think actually the thing they were thinking about the most is what flavor do I want to photograph that is going to look good, but also that I really want to eat. That was a dilemma of, is it going to look good and are we going to eat it? When we'd gone out to the ice cream shop, there is a fantastic, massive antique shop in the town. And everyone piled into there and bought the tarnished cutlery and all of the props that they'd been looking for, as this is one of the biggest antique shops I'd seen. And they had baskets and baskets of old cutlery that they were selling for £1 a piece. So everyone just dived into there. Then on the last day, Mark took his waistcoat off and he started to create the cocktails that we just happened to obviously drink as well, because it would be rude not to. And we started to photograph different drinks and cocktails that we could use to get used to drink photography and glass photography. This was just before Halloween. So Karen bought some lychees and some blueberries, and we did our Halloween themed cocktail as well with the smoke machine. So we threw a lot at Brecon Beacons, and I think that's why there are just photos. And I still see people using their photos on social media and having them in their portfolio and having them on the banners. And on the last night at the Brecon Beacons, I take everyone to the pub and treat you to a pub meal so that Karen can have a lie down. So, Karen, over to you.
Hello, everyone. So Emma comes up with the angles that we wanted to photograph over the 3 days, and then I came up with the menu looking at the colours of the food that we were using, the depth, things that I thought that people would want to photograph to use in portfolios, or the sort of things they would be photographing in coffee shops and things. And then we sort of, Emma and I just communicated, looked at all the options, worked out how we were going to dress them, and that's how we come up with the menu. And then for lunch times, it's a very informal lunch. We might have some salads and quiche or some sandwiches. And then in the evening, it's home cooked sort of beef bourguignon or a Thai curry. So all very, very relaxed. No getting dressed up, just plonk yourself down and enjoy the evening.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. And you were very much like Emma and I chat about the meal. For months, Karen was making things and photographing them and sending me and going, how about this for day 2? How about this for day 3? And, you know, again, by the time everyone turned up, it was well thought out. We knew exactly what we were serving at what time and what was happening, because we'd spent 6 months, 6 months planning everything for the whole week, hadn't we? And just really to make everything flow and to give everyone what they needed. And then on the last morning, we let everyone say, what is it you're missing? What haven't you done? And we photographed anything that anyone was missing, didn't we?
Yeah, we also went to the supermarket and bought some pies and some cheap things so people can see, if they don't want to cook something from scratch, what could they buy and how could they make it look more homemade and home cooked.
Yeah, and we had a tin of tomato soup with the swirl in the middle, and it looked really classy, but it was a tin of Heinz tomato soup, but it had just been styled nicely on a nice set, but it was still a tin of soup. So yeah, that's a really good point to make. Anything else from you, Karen?
No, I think if anyone's got anything in particular in mind that they want to learn how to photograph, let us know, and then we'll try and incorporate that into the day as well. So Fo, last year she had a shoot at a fruit and vegetable shop. So thankfully I've got a lady who grows my own flowers, and she grew lots of unusual vegetables for me. So Fo took herself off, set that up, and had a practice then of photographing the fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, and she went away and had a very confident shoot after that, because she'd done so much of the fruit and veg. Daryl's just saying, do you cover editing at the retreats? You've got me on tap the whole time we're there. So on the last day, before everyone went home, they wanted to ask me a few things about editing. So while we were having our lunch, we sat and we just went through some editing. But if you need to take me aside, Kenny was a chef. Kenny came on, and he just had no idea about editing. So on the second day, I spent a bit of time with Kenny, and I helped him, show him how to do some basic editing. Because there's only 6 to 8 of you, it's not, oh, let me plonk those 20 people over there while I talk to one. There's not many people there. So anyone that needs one-to-one support can have it. And I don't mind cracking open a beer while everyone's gone to get changed and sit and talking to someone about editing, because I feel you get what you need out of the week. Especially there, because Mark will bring me a beer over. Even if I'd have just thought about a gin and tonic at Brecon Beacons, it was there next to me. It was just like, how does he do that? It's amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to pass over to Debbie. You can ask loads more questions at the end, anytime you want, but if anything comes up, just ask. Millie said, I own a bakery, so would be happy if there were some cookies to photograph. Perfect.
Yes.
And you're already booked on, Millie, so cookies it is. Right. Debbie, tell us how you got on at the Brecon Beacons.
Hello. Hi, everybody. So firstly, just to let you know that I'm a completely novice photographer. So I got to the point last year where I'd got about 80,000 photos on my iPhone and thought, I need a hobby. Maybe I should go into photography. I really had no idea what kind of photographer I wanted to be. And I was looking at all these. Do you want to be wildlife? Do you want to be weddings? Do you want to be art? And I came across Emma and food photography. No idea how I found her, but I found her Googling and researching. I think you are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So I came across it and I thought, food photography. Well, I love food. I love eating. I'd sell myself as a connoisseur for afternoon teas. So I thought, well, I'll sign up for this. First, I think I signed up for the 5-day challenge. I was absolutely amazed to find out how much there is about food and photography. Went along to the Brecon Beacons. And of course, all my friends said, what on earth are you doing on a food photography retreat? I said, I've got absolutely no idea, but it's 5 days. You know, I'm off to Wales, never been there before. There's a few people going, so I'm quite sociable, like to meet people. So off I went with my camera, tripod. Emma said, throw into the boot whatever it is you can't use. So everything came with me because I had no idea what I was doing with anything. And I tend to overbuy and think, well, that looks great, but I'll just keep it in the cupboard for now. So off I went on to Brecon Beacons. So I think Emma said to me, well, what did you love most about it? So there's quite a few things, really. So firstly, meeting like-minded individuals. So it was really great to meet people, get to know who they were, what they did for a background, what they did in terms of experience. And I really met a great bunch of people who most of them I've kept in touch with or still connected on, you know, Facebook or Instagram, which is really nice because they turn out to be true friends as well. The other thing was about styling a shoot. So quite early on, Emma kept saying napkinology. I thought, what is this napkinology? And I even Googled it. I thought napkinology, and it is actually a thing. And believe it or not, there's 15 different ways that you can fold a napkin. So I've actually bought about 30 napkins, I have to admit. They get scrunched, they get, you know, folded, they get thrown on the floor. It's absolutely unbelievable. But I love saying napkinology because it does make you sound like a professional.
You do sound like a professional now, Debbie.
And I'm really not. Then building your portfolio, which Emma has said, you do really come away with some fabulous images. I mean, the one thing I hated at the time, they kept saying flat lays. I thought, what's flat lays? You know, alongside napkinology, all this terminology comes. And at the end of the week, I absolutely love flat lays. In fact, flat lays is the one thing I like better than anything. I had no idea what they were. And equally, it's quite exciting to think about what are you actually going to photograph each day. And Karen would come in and there would be, oh, we did everything, didn't we? Salads and burgers and cakes and drinks and salads, breakfast, everything. So you get such a broad range. And I think I was the one who asked for pies, and we got some really great shots, like you say, which you can use. I think I probably got about 15 ones, which are really good, which I've used on my, to create my portfolio. And I think probably the biggest thing is it just gives you dedicated time away from anybody else and away from any distractions. And you can, you know, talk about anything really, whether it be how do you use your, you know, which lens do you use and what's the difference between macro photography or how do you use lighting. So I think being away on a retreat really gives you that time to connect with others, focus and just immerse yourself in well, photography and food really. But you know, and just to go on to the props, I mean, I haven't bought. Well, have I? Let me think about that. Perhaps I have.
Bought quite a bit.
Yeah, probably I have. But you just think you need a camera, tripod, and lights. Whereas, and I've actually got my list here of plates and bowls and cutlery and mugs and glasses and boards and pans and flowers and linens and napkins. And the biggest of all, backdrops. Who knew how many backdrops you needed? So I've actually created my own little studio now. I'm not really doing anything with it other than it looks fabulous because I've got loads of backdrops. I've got loads of napkins, flowers, accessories, everything. I just don't quite know how to use the camera. Great. But I'm all set up for food photography. So if anybody wants to come.
I do keep saying to Debbie, stop spending money. Oh, but I love backdrops. I've got a problem with backdrops. Stop spending money, Debbie. No, yeah. I can't.
I am completely guilty. I actually think I'd probably be better as the prop lady than the food photographer, but you know, we shall see. So I really do encourage you to go on them. I think, you know, because it's such an elongated timeline, you just get more immersed in it all. And I am booked on for the Kingswood. I'm not booked on for the Brecon Beacons, but only because I don't know yet whether I can make it back after my holiday. So that's, Emma keeps putting all these wrong dates in which clash with my social calendar. So other than that, happy to answer any questions. But yeah, yes, it was great, and hopefully that's covered.
And we did laugh all the time, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did.
It wasn't serious, but you came away with
things go wrong. I mean, my tripod wouldn't fit through the door, and of course, I learned how to fold it down properly. You know, I mean, obviously, everybody's slightly different in terms of what they want to get from it, but I got the food side and the use of the camera and techniques. And I have to say, Karen and Mark are absolutely fabulous. You know, the food, as I was saying, was great. And it's almost like holiday combined with a bit of a food photography retreat.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the one place that you don't have to lift a finger. Every meal is done for you. It just is so nice to come down and everything's done. And again, Mark knows what you want before you've actually thought about it. So that always helps that someone knows what you want beforehand. So coming on a retreat in the Brecon Beacons, you don't actually have to think other than what am I going to do with my food photography? The rest is all sorted out. Okay, so a few things that come up with retreats are, can you bring a partner? You can. I just haven't put any costings into the partners on the websites. Can you share a room with a photographer friend? Absolutely. Can you extend your trip and turn it into a longer holiday? Yeah, I know Fo did that last year with you, didn't she, Karen? She stayed longer.
Yes, Millie's already asked to do that as well, who's coming.
Yeah, it's really nice to sort of decamp a bit from it, and the hotel is so nice. You'll absolutely love it, and you know, it's worth it. This is a holiday, but a learning holiday, and just for you to make you know, make the most of it. So Ian said that's interesting because he makes backdrops. Well, you and Debbie will be a match made in heaven.
Yeah, who's that?
Yeah. That's it, Ian. I'd say you're probably going to be able to retire in a couple of months when Debbie.
Oh, dear.
So I'm going to move on to the next bit. But again, if you've got anything that comes up, you can ask anyone anything at the end. So this is the end of the Brecon Beacons. I'm now just going to move on to the retreats that I have just secured. They are brand new for 2026. Liz is coming with me to these two retreats. So we've got our chef and stylist with us. So we don't have to worry about the fact that we might not be able to understand who we're with. We can understand Liz, I hope, unless she talks in a very broad London accent. I think you'll be fine, Liz. So the first place we're going to next May is a Greek villa in Crete. And this Greek villa is right by the sea. It's got outside pools. and everything's sunk into the ground, and you can just see out to the sea. The difference with this retreat is that it is 2 separate retreats of 5 bedrooms in each one. And we've then got 2 pools and 2 outdoor areas and 2 of everything. But we'll all be working together, but there is plenty of space for us to be able to have some time apart, go down to the sea, but also to be able to photograph in the beautiful island of Crete. Some of the rooms look out to the sea, some look out to the mountains, but it has been put together in a really modern, stylish way inside. We've got 2 different lounges. So, you know, if you feel you're somewhere and you need a bit of space, this place gives you space. We've got an outdoor eating area and an indoor eating area, dependent on what the weather is like out in Crete in May. It is supposed to be between about 16 and 25. So it will obviously feel warmer than it does over here. And those of us that want to jump in the pool can. All the rooms look virtually the same, so I've only put a couple of rooms in here for you to see. And we've got table tennis if everyone is feeling a little bit competitive. So the Crete villa, because it's got 5 and 5 bedrooms, that's 10, which means once Liz and I have got a room, we will be looking at taking 8 people to Crete with us. And bring your swimmers. Looks absolutely beautiful, and I'm very excited. The second place that we have is going to be at the end of September 2026, and it is a beautiful villa in Tuscany that is used for weddings, and it's very rare to get a week where they are free. Hence why I'm booking a year and a half in advance for Tuscany to get this venue. This is the venue. It also has 10 bedrooms. So I'm looking at taking 8 people to Tuscany with us for some beautiful Italian food. It also has the outdoor seating area looking over to the vineyards and the hills. And we can eat al fresco. We can look out onto the Italian countryside. We can sit around the pool. We are totally away from everything else in the area. It's a standalone venue, and it's looking pretty good. If the weather isn't great, but I would expect at the end of September, that's unlikely. We can also sit inside, but we'll be doing our food photography inside and outside. With both of these venues, we'll be using the shapes and the shadows of the sunshine in these countries to create some really nice effects. And obviously the wine will be super cheap out there because it's grown down the road from it. So it's kind of modern, but traditional. It's got a very odd mix to it. But as I say, this is a wedding venue, and this is why I've had to book it so far in advance to secure it for the food photography retreat. So it does take a lot more people in this venue, and we are only going to be 10 in there. So again, it might be something that you want your partner to come along with you, and they go off and explore Tuscany while you are eating and photographing Tuscan food. So this is the Tuscan villa. Didn't realize how many pictures I'd put inside it. So that's all the retreats I've got lined up now, all the way through to September 2026. And you're probably all saying, yes, I want to do that one or this one, but it's going to be way out of my budget, or I can't do it. So I will obviously send this out to you afterwards, but I'll just give you an idea of the prices. what I have done with the prices, I have tried to spread it over as many months as I can, so it's an affordable investment for you to go forward, learn, grow for your own self-development or for your business, but to try and make it so that it's not breaking the bank. But obviously these venues are quite expensive and I have to factor all that in. So the retreats in the garden, which are in the studio 1 or 2 days, are $379 for 1 day or $699 for 2 days, or you can pay over 2 months and split that at $190 over 2 months or $350 over 2 months. That is the studio. Kingswood Manor, I only have the one room on Kingswood Manor, which is happening in September 2025. At this point, it isn't offered anywhere because it is technically sold, but there is one more room. And don't worry, you're not getting a room with the chickens. Whichever is the worst room will go to me, very likely. You know, or Liz, we're the hired help. So we're not going to have the most extravagant rooms at Kingswood. Sorry, Liz. We've got the New White Lion as well. We have 5 spaces at the Brecon Beacons venue in the small boutique hotel, which is absolutely gorgeous. Mark understanding everything you need before you want it. So for Kingswood Manor, if you want to take that last room, it is 1295, or you can spread it out over 5 months at 259. There are other installment options on the site when you have a look at them. If you want to pay in a different way, I'm giving you the cheapest way and the most expensive way to pay for it so that you can see how it works for you. And the beautiful Brecon Beacons is only £185 per month for 7 months, as we are not in the Brecon Beacons until November, I believe it is. I'm going to give you all the dates for this afterwards, so you can always ask. But as mentioned, I've spread these out as much as I can. Then we have Crete and we have Tuscany for next year, not for this year. And the Greek Villa and the Tuscan Villa are 1695 for your full stay in the villa with all of your food. Because it's so far away, I've been able to stretch the payments out. For the Greek Villa, it works out at £131 per month over 13 months. And for the Tuscan Villa, it works out at just £113 per month for 15 months. Again, you can pay in 3 months, you can pay in 6 months. There are other options if you think it's too far for you. What I'm trying to do is, I know that when my kids are at school and they want to go skiing or there's a trip, we have to pay for it over months, and they get to go and do all these fantastic trips. And me and my husband always say, why don't we ever pay for something over months and go and do something like that? But we never do. So think of it as a school trip. So if you want to get a little bit more information, I will send it out to you, but you can scan this QR code and this will take you to the page with all of the retreats. I do appreciate there are not many spaces on each one because there are only between 6 and 8 on a full retreat, and a lot of these have places taken. If you want a space on the retreat and you join by Saturday, you will get 1 free power hour with me on Zoom to talk about your business, talk about how I can help you with your food photography. Or if you're not doing anything for business and you just want to learn more about food photography, you can take that with me within a year. And if you pay in full, you will get an additional power hour. So you get 2 hours that you can either take together or at different times. That is only for the location retreats, not for the studio retreats, the second power hour. So that is all my information. I'm hoping that's given you a lot of food for thought, pardon the pun. And I just want to open it up now to you guys if you've got any questions for the lovely panel here, or if anyone on the panel has anything else they've thought about that they would like to do. Kim, good question. Yes, flights and transport for the abroad treats are not included. I did look at the flights and transfers. They're coming out for a flight plus a transfer return at around £350. But a lot of the flights for September 2026 are not out at the moment. So I worked it on the prices of June 2026. But they were roughly around £350 booking this far in advance. But obviously, if you're all coming on the same flights or at the airport, we can put together people sharing transfers to keep the cost down. The flights were actually, quite cheap doing it this far in advance. But yeah, good question, Kim. I like that. Anything else from anyone? Millie, which would be the next airport to Tuscany? It's Florence. The centre of Florence is around 25 minutes away from the villa. And that's a very good question. The Florence airport is slightly further out, so you might find it's about 45 minutes from the airport. But if you're coming into Florence and seeing a bit of Florence, it's around 25 minutes away from Florence airport. Anything else? Anything from you guys? Liz, Karen, Pratimar, Debbie, anyone got anything they want to add?
No, from me.
Everyone just wants to go to bed. Or is that just me?
Oh, yeah.
Rock and roll me. Look, this is me in on a retreat, 8:30. Oh, I'm just going to bed.
I might go and look at backdrops.
Oh, God, no. Don't spend any more money, Debbie.
I've heard there's a new man in town.
Oh, my goodness. Ian's sitting there thinking, I'm going to be a millionaire in a couple of months. Well, I just want to say thank you for all of you coming along and checking out the information with the retreats. It's a really exciting time to really start doing things in person again and not having to do everything online. I say presenting online about retreats, but it just makes such a difference being side by side and having a drink and sharing moments. It's a really nice way to do it. So if you have any questions, please do come back to me. You've all been emailed with this link. Just send me an email back. Or if you've scanned the QR code, you can be looking through the retreats at the moment, and I will send something out to you. But thank you to everyone here. We are looking at getting the 2025 ones booked up. They won't take long. If Kingswood sold out in 24 hours, the Brecon Beacons is going to get snapped up. You've seen how beautiful it is there. So you have until the end of Saturday if you're really keen and interested and want to do it. If it's not for you, that's totally fine too. So thanks a lot for you turning up tonight. Thank you to the panel, and I look forward to seeing you in person on one of the retreats. All right, take care. Thanks. Bye.